सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। So we were in the fifth Brahmana of the third chapter. Again, very important Vakya here. Only one Vakya is there in this Brahmana. And the introduction, Bhashyakara says that Bandha Moksha Sadhanam. So the means for getting free from bondage is presented here, which is actually Atma Jnanam. Sakshat Sadhanam is Atma Jnanam. The direct means is to know oneself. But for Atma Jnanam also, Sannyasa is an important prerequisite. So Sannyasa also is presented here as an ashrama. So Sasannyasa Atma Jnanam Vaktavyam. So the Upanishad has started this Brahmana because it wants to show that Atma Jnanam along with Sannyasa has to be said as the means for that. For that purpose only this is there. I think we briefly saw the meaning of this Vakya, but anyway we can go through this again. Ataha yenam kaholaha. So this Brahmana is called Kahola Brahmana because Kahola is the questioner and he is the son of Kushitaka. So Kaushitakeyaha means the son of Kushitaka. Papracha. So he asked what? Again he calls Yajnavalkya Tihovacha. So he called the attention of Yajnavalkya. And he is asking the same question actually. In fact, in the Bhashya, this one whole paragraph is there about that. Because this, if you go back here, Ushasta Brahmana also the same question is there, correct? Yet Sakshat Aparokshat Brahma Ya Atma Sarvantaraha Tamme Vyachakshva iti. Same thing he is also asking here. Yadeva Sakshat Aparokshat Brahma Ya Atma Sarvantaraha Tamme Vyachakshva. And initially, Yajnavalkya is giving the same answer. Yeshata Atma Sarvantaraha. It is your Atma alone which is the self of all, he says. So here, Kahola is asking, what is this Atma which is there in all the beings? Then here Yajnavalkya is answering, Yaha Ashanaya Pipase. So this is actually a samasa. Okay, together Ashanaya and Pipasa. Now Ashanaya means the desire for eating. Okay, which is born of hunger. Hunger is meant here, but basically hunger is presented as the desire for eating. And Pipasa also is the desire to drink, means thirst. So hunger and thirst together they are formed as a samasa. Bhashyakara says that that is a samasa because both these things are actually prana dharma. Therefore they are presented as one compound word, although they are two things, hunger and thirst are presented. Then shokam moham. Shokam and moham are actually something manodharma, correct? They are based on the mind, or they are qualities of mind, you can say. But they are not compounded, they are presented separately because their causes are different. Like this, he gives even a bhashya for this. Why Shokam and Moham are uncompounded, separate words, but Ashanaya Pipasa is compounded as Ashanaya Pipase as a single compound word. Then Jaram, Mrityumatyeti. So old age and death. So now these six things are presented here. In fact, these six things are the samsara lakshana, you can say, correct? The characteristic of samsara is nothing but hunger, thirst, then Shoka, you can translate it as sorrow, but Bhashyakara says Shoka is more like atripti. You are not satisfied with the things you have, then you want to actually have something more, correct? Now, that is what is Shoka. The dissatisfaction with whatever you have itself is Shoka. And so basically it is desire. You are dissatisfied with what you have, and then you desire for what you don't have, then you are going after all that. If it is not, if you don't get whatever you desire, again that becomes sorrow, in fact. But even if it is not sorrow, or if it doesn't end up in sorrow, whatever you desire and achieve and gain also, you will become dissatisfied with that soon, correct? After you have gained something, only for some time, a new car, where you will be happy with it for 1 month maybe. Then afterwards, after the first scratch, everything is back to normal. So this Shoka is very important, and Shoka itself and Kama, etc., is because of delusion, Moha. Moha itself is because you take one thing as the other, and the Karana for that is Avidya. Finally, we have to go into Avidya. Bhashyakara, in fact, talks about the Avidya also there. So Shoka, Moha, and Jara and Mrityu are based on the body. So basically here, old age and death is for the physical body. The sorrow or dissatisfaction and delusion is for mind, and hunger and thirst is for prana. And all these levels we are having actually the Atma Buddhi, correct? So it's all avidya only, all the way. And one who crosses over all these things, because you don't take this as your own dharma anymore, because it's all anatma anyway. Whether it is mind or prana or physical body, all of them are really anatma, and their dharma or qualities are not my qualities. So understanding that alone, you transcend, correct? How do you transcend your mind? Means understanding that I am not the mind itself is good enough. And one more level we have to go means all of them are mithya, not just anatma. If it is anatma and of the same order of reality also, there is a problem always, correct? In fact, they are not even of the same order of reality. Atma is satyam. Everything else, which is an object of your cognition, which are all anatma, they are all mithya. They are not even of the same order of reality. So by seeing all of these things as mithya, one transcends them. Atyeti, you go beyond all these things. That is the Atma of all, he says. The Atma of all is the one which has transcended all these things, which is Brahman really, correct? So this is basically again a Mahavakya only. And then this is the other part which is very interesting here. Etam vai tam atmanam viditva. So knowing this Atma means, here we have to take this knowing as apatata jnanam, we say, correct? In the Shastra, there is something called apatata jnanam, means you have some general idea about something. You have heard about something called moksha is there. In fact, if you do Veda Adhyanam, you study even the Upanishad parts also are studied, correct? You memorize everything. So if you are a Yajurvedi, Krishna Yajurvedi, you will study Taittiriya Upanishad, let us say. So Brahmavida apnoti param tadesha bhyukta. So Brahmavida apnoti param, correct? So the one who knows Brahman attains freedom, attains the ultimate which one can attain, attains moksha. All these things are there. So one has a general idea about moksha as a purushartha, and particularly the one who has gone through the grind of the life and attained a certain viveka, correct? Discrimination, that whatever I achieve in this world, I don't seem to be satisfied with that. For that, you don't have to achieve everything, in fact. You have some achievements, based on that achievement itself, that those achievements, whatever you have achieved in the life, are not giving satisfaction to you, you can simply do a thought experiment, extrapolate, and understand that everything else also which people are going after, even successful people, are not really successful because they don't have self-satisfaction, correct? Unless you are satisfied with yourself totally, nobody is really successful. The society may think that for success you should have this, that, power, wealth, etc., luxury, but none of that seems to give satisfaction to the one who has all that. In fact, such people are even more miserable sometimes. So, from all these things, one can have a certain discrimination. Viveka is born. Okay, see, whatever I achieve in this world, I am still dissatisfied. Is there anything which will make me totally satisfied? Once you start thinking in that direction, you are no more interested in karma and karma phala. You can still continue doing it as your duty. That's a different thing. But in your mind, this thought has to come first. In fact, then only Vedanta itself, the study of Vedanta itself, is meaningful. So why do we even study Vedanta? We are not studying Vedanta for some degree. Some people do that, okay? You can even do PhD in Vedanta, but that will not give that person with PhD whatever Vedanta can really give you, correct? Vedanta study is for the one who wants to be totally satisfied with oneself, because that is the Purushartha really. Everybody wants to be satisfied, happy. From there, the whole thing starts. And once you know that any worldly pursuit, and extrapolating that, even if I go to some other loka, because other lokas are also talked about by the Shastra, different religious traditions are also talking about going to heaven and all that. Assuming that I survive the death of this physical body and also going somewhere else also, the situation is not going to be different, correct? Because you are still the same individual. You may be having a different body, more maybe a better body which can enjoy things even better. But even all those enjoyments, wherever you are, is not going to last forever, and you may get bored with them. All the same problems which you have here, there is no guarantee that those things will not be there, correct? In fact, most probably it will be the same thing. Even you go to heaven, then there also Taratamya is there. In fact, the Upanishad itself talks about that. There is a Karma Deva, Ajanajanan Deva, then Deva, then Indra is there. So Devendra. Even if you become a Deva, then you have to bow down to Indra. And Brihaspati comes, Indra also has to bow down because he is Deva Guru. So like this, Taratamya is there. There are gradations, hierarchy everywhere. And you may not be satisfied there also, correct? So the one who has this discrimination, and also one who has the apatata jnana, correct? Of course, even if you don't study the Veda, even if you are born and brought up in this culture, correct? In this country, I wanted to say, but it is no more like that. There are Hindus all over the world, and if you have a certain appreciation of our culture, you have picked up certain things by osmosis. You did not even make any special effort, but you have heard so many things from your grandparents, parents, etc. So in all that, what do you know? That even the great kings, you study the Purana, you study Mahabharata, Ramayana. In all that also, even kings who had absolute power, who had so much wealth, all that, and they lived a royal life, even they were not fully satisfied. Finally, they left everything and went to the forest to study with some rishis, munis, jnanis. So that's how it is there. We see that, in fact. We have heard all these stories. So there is a pursuit called moksha. So now, whatever I want to achieve, which can be categorized as dharma, artha, and kama, those three are all these sadhyas or ends are no more satisfactory to me. I want moksha. So that is the tam atmanam viditva, means for that moksha. Again, what is the means atmavid tarati shokam, brahmavid apnoti param. All these things are there, correct? So one has to know oneself. This much you know. So this is the apatata jnanam which is talked about here. So once you have a certain nitya vastu viveka, mumuksha is there, and you are a emotionally mature person, you have a certain mental disposition, then what choice do you have? You don't have any other choice, correct? You have to go after the pursuit of this knowledge. You have no other choice. In fact, it is almost choiceless. That's how it has to be really. In fact, it's not like you make a choice with lot of difficulty and all that, correct? See, many times people think that you come to study Vedanta, let us say. Then everybody thinks you have done a lot of tyaga. That you have left everything else, you have come to study Vedanta. If the person who has come to study Vedanta thinks like that, then there is a problem, in fact. You have to come to study Vedanta because that is the only thing which really makes sense to you, which will make you happy. So you should be thinking like that, in which case you have not really given up anything, correct? Whatever you have given up is worthless anyway. It's not something which is you are interested in anyway, correct? So it's not really a tyaga or anything. You are just going after whatever you really want. That's how it should be. That's how the Vedantic pursuit is like that. So once you have a certain thought process like that, that means what? You have gone beyond certain desires, correct? That's what it is talking about here. Putraishanayascha, vittaishanayascha, lokeshanayascha, vyuthaya. So giving up the desire for putra, for wealth, vitta, and even going to different lokas and all that. Now here also you have to see one thing. This putra yeshana and vitta yeshana are can be categorized as sadhana yeshana. Means they are only means, correct? If you go back to the I think 1.5, first chapter, 5th Brahmana is called Saptanna Brahmanam. There we talked about certain things. Okay, 7 types of anna. In that, again, it was finally said, what are those anna and all it was talked about. It's interesting, in fact. Then it is said that through putra, you gain this loka. Through vitta, wealth, means you can do karma, correct? If you want to do Vaidika karma, you require wealth. And their wealth means they talk about Daivi Vittam also. There are 2 types of wealth also is talked about in the Sapta Anna. So, the Vitta, the wealth is basically to do karma. Karmana Pitrulokam. If you do only karma, Vaidika karma, then you go to Pitruloka. Then Upasana. If you do Upasana, you go to whatever, Deva Loka or Brahma Loka and all that. Karma plus Upasana. That is. So there are 3 sadhanas are there, Putra, Vitta and Upasana, or Putra, Karma and Upasana. And 3 sadhyas are there, Bhuloka, Pitruloka and Devaloka. So the desire for, always the desire for an end is there, means then you will see what is the means for that. What if that means also you don't have? Then you will have a desire to attain the means first, correct? So you desire a nice new car, fine, but do you have the money? Means now money is the sadhana for the car. Now you have to earn money first. So money itself becomes an end. But it is a sadhana yeshana. The desire for money is there first. Then once you get the money, you get the car. Like that, there can be desire for the means, and then there is a desire for the end also. In this case, the Putra Yeshana and Vitta Yeshana are all Sadhana Yeshana. Loka Yeshana is like, Loka Yeshana here includes all the lokas, okay, whether it is Bhuloka, Pitrloka or Devaloka. This is all Sadhya Yeshana. So basically, you don't have desire for either the means or end. You are free from both sadhana and sadhya. That's what we have to understand here, correct? Sadhana sadhya makes sense only if you are going to accomplish something which is unaccomplished. Understand that. Accomplishing the unaccomplished, for that the means is there, ends are there. In fact, means and ends are different. The end is different from you also, in fact. Whatever you want to achieve is not with you already. It is different from you and you have to somehow get it, correct? And for that, karma is the sadhana, action. So sadhana sadhya implies karma, implies that whatever you want to accomplish is already not there with you. It is unaccomplished. So for accomplishing the unaccomplished alone, sadhana sadhya, karma, etc. are relevant. But once you go after the limitless, what you really want is the limitless means. Limitless is not unaccomplished, correct? It is already there. Atma is Siddha Vastu, in fact. It is already accomplished. You are already Mukta. But I don't know. So it is only ignorance alone is the distance between what you want and you just think that you don't have it, correct? Basically, the distance between what you want and yourself is only ignorance in this case. And in fact, whatever you want to accomplish is already accomplished. So this pursuit is accomplishing the accomplished. That means both sadhana sadhya, the regular sadhana and sadhya, which are relevant, are no more relevant for you. Which are relevant only in accomplishing something which is unaccomplished. They are not anymore useful for you. So you have to go beyond all of them. You give up. You are no more interested in sadhana. You don't have any desire for sadhanas and you don't have any desire for sadhyas also. So Vyuthaya, giving up, what do you do? Bhikshacharyam charanti, you take to a life of alms. Means you become a bhikshu, sannyasi. So sannyasa lifestyle you take up. Why you take up sannyasa lifestyle? Because you want to simplify your life. Sannyasi means one who has given up all the roles voluntarily and only takes up the role of a student or a teacher. You have only two roles as a sannyasi. Every other role you have given up means you have, by giving up the role, you have also given up all the duties of those roles also. That is the beauty, correct? If you are still attached to something and then give up that role, means it becomes a problem now. Then sannyasa will become dukkam aptum ayogataha, like this Bhagavan says in the 5th chapter of Gita. Sannyasastu mahabhaho dukkam aptum ayogataha. So if you are not ready, you should not take sannyasa. Sannyasa should become something which is based on your own maturity. It should happen actually. In fact, my Guruji used to say that generally if somebody comes and asks, should I take sannyasa? Means you should say no. Why? Because that very question itself, if you are asking, you are not ready to take sannyasa. So if you want to really take sannyasa, you won't be going and asking the question to anybody. Understand that. So you should not even be having any question in your mind about whether you should take sannyasa and all that. So whenever anybody asks the question, straight away say no. You should not take. Anyway, so here, sannyasa lifestyle you take so that you can do, assuming it is a vividisha sannyasa. Vividisha sannyasa means, see, basically you have given up all the desires, but one desire is still there, correct? What is this desire means? Desire for moksha, mumuksha is there. And of course, mumuksha, once you understand the nature of the pursuit, it becomes desire for knowledge, it becomes jijnasa. Mumuksha has become jijnasa. So, or vividisha. Vividisha is the same thing. Vetum icha, jnatum icha, vetum icha, and all is the same thing. Desire to know. So, with a desire to know, you take sannyasa so that you have simplified your life. You only want to spend time in Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasanam, no other things. Those are the Sakshat Jnana Karanam is Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Already we saw that, correct, in the Maitreyi Brahmanam. So you want to listen to the Guru. You want to be all the time thinking about this, get clarity. You want to be only focused on this knowledge, and then you want to keep recollecting that knowledge till it becomes established in you, or you become established in that knowledge, correct? Jnana Nishtha we say. So Jnana and Jnana Nishtha are the only pursuits, and for that Shravana Manana Nididhyasana are the sadhana. So your only desire is for that now. All other desires are gone. So this desire is so strong that every other desire is meaningless now. And you have grown out of all that automatically. It's not that you have done some tyaga or great, you have with lot of difficulty, you have left everything and come. It should not be like that. There is no difficulty, in fact. It is like you have grown. When you were a child, you were so attached to so many things, correct? Even balloons. We used to have all these marbles. When we were children, we used to play on the streets with all those glass marbles. We had different kinds of games with that. Very interesting. And whenever you win, you get the marble of the other guy. So like this, I used to have one whole glass bottle full of marbles I collected. And I was always afraid that my brother will take it away. So sometimes I used to keep it under my pillow also. So you were so attached to a simple thing like that glass marble, but you grow out of all that, correct? It's not that you have done some great tyaga of the marble or anything. At some point in time, you just grow out of that. Like that, you have to grow out of all this putra ishana, vitta ishana, loka ishana, everything you grow out of that because you have only mumuksha and jijnasa, and therefore you take to a life of sannyasa. So Vikshacharyam, Charanti. And so again, the Upanishad talks about this. Yahi eva putraishana, sa vittaishana. So whatever is the putraishana alone is the vittaishana, and ya vittaishana, sa lokaishana, it says. So whatever is the desire for putra is nothing but the desire for wealth, and desire for wealth is nothing but desire for loka, etc. That is because basically all of them are desires, correct? They are all desires. One is the desire for the sadhana, another is the desire for the sadhya. That way we can differentiate. In fact, that's why finally the Upanishad does something very interesting. After saying this, you would expect that it will say that everything is only one desire, correct? No, it says ube. Both these are yeshane eva bhavataha, it says ubhe. Like that, it is talking about two desires now. These two are nothing but the desire for sadhana and sadhya, as I told you already. And already here also you can see putra ishana, vitta ishana are all sadhana yeshana, and loka yeshana is the sadhya yeshana. Basically, you have transcended both sadhana yeshana and sadhya yeshana. Both these things, all these yeshanas, you have given up. You have given up the desires, all these desires, and you take to a life of Bhikshacharyam, of sannyasa lifestyle. Okay, then what do? You become a sannyasi. Nowadays, people become sannyasi and then do so many things. But traditionally, sannyasa you take. In fact, even the teaching of Upanishad itself, was mainly Sanyasya Shravanam Kuryat. Like this, there is a saying in the tradition. Having taken sannyasa, do Shastra Shravanam. Vedanta itself was not really taught to anybody. Was that's why it is Upanishad. One meaning is secret. Right? It was some kind of a secret knowledge or guarded. It was guarded. It was not taught to everybody. Only in our generation, Swami Chinmayananda was one of the first to come and give all these public talks. I think. I don't know whether anybody did it before. Maybe Vivekananda was there before that. Although Vivekananda, we may not consider him as a traditional sannyasi, but he is a very big figure, a Vedantin. So only maybe in the last 100 years or so, you can say that, or 150 years, this Vedanta in public and public discourses, etc., it is there. Otherwise, it was like you have to take sannyasa, you go to Kashi, you go to Himalayas, you go to Haridwar, Rishikesh, and you learn from some guru like that. That's how it was. There were different ashramas were there. You go to one of them. Even today, Kailash Ashrama and all is there. Traditionally, they teach in Hindi. They have regular classes. You can go there and attend. So, that's what you are supposed to do. So, Tasmat means after this, Brahmanaha Pandityam Nirvidya Balyena Tishtase. So, here, interesting words are there. Instead of Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, the Upanishad is using different words here. You can see. So after this, taking this lifestyle of sannyasa, that Brahmana means here the one who is interested in knowing Brahman. Correct? Who is a Brahmana? Also, there are a lot of discussions on that. Jati Brahmana, of course, are there. Those who are Brahmana Jati or Brahmana Varna we talked about. But generally it is also said Janmana Shudra. Everybody is a Shudra by Janma. Then only by Samskara one becomes a Dvija. Then you gain knowledge, you become Vipra. Correct? You study the Shastra and all that. But only when you have Atma Jnanam, you are really a Brahmana. Like this, there is actually an analysis. There is a Vajra Shuchiko Upanishad also is there, where it actually starts with the question, who is a Brahmana, and then it does analysis. So here Brahmana is the one who is interested in knowing Brahman, or one who knows Brahman. Okay, the knower of Brahman, or one who is interested, at least he has the desire to know Brahman. Like even as soon as you join the college, correct, medical college, people start calling you doctor, or you join engineering college, first semester only you become an engineer. At least people address you as engineer, correct? You are still pursuing. So like that, as soon as you start doing Shravanam, you are a Brahmana, you are a Jnani. Okay. So we can take like that. So Bhikshacharya, okay. Tasmat Brahmanaha Pandityam Nirvidya means Pandityam means basically knowledge. Nirvidya means you know that clearly. Nischayena, correct? You know, you learn, you Nischayena Veda, basically Nirvidya means Shravanam. Pandityam Nirvidya is pointing out to Shravanam actually. You actually learn from Agama and Guru, from the Veda and the Guru about yourself, whatever the Veda is teaching, whatever the Veda is revealing, that you clearly know by doing Shravanam. But of course, once you do Shravanam also, the knowledge is not strong, correct? Knowledge is still weak. Why knowledge is weak? Because so many doubts are there. There is no clarity. Doubts are there. Vagueness is there. So you want to have strong knowledge, clear knowledge. Okay. So what do? There are so many doubts. How can I be Brahman? How can the world be Mithya? In fact, how can I be this Jagat Karanam Brahman? Brahman is everything. How is that possible? How do you say that world is mithya? These are all big questions which needs to be answered. In fact, you have to find the answer and get clarity yourself. Then your knowledge is strong. Your knowledge is no more shaken. Even if somebody comes and says something, you meet a Hare Krishna on the road, he is abusing you, you are a Mayavadi and all that, you don't really bother about all that. It's okay. In fact, we are Brahmavadins. We are not Mayavadi. Shankara is a Brahmavadi. Mayavadi is really a Buddhist, can be called Mayavadi because they say everything is Maya, but they don't have any Brahman or any reality. They say everything is Shunya. So anyway, we are not bothered about all that. You have strong knowledge. Balyena, here Balyena, this word Balya can be taken in two ways. Bala means strength. So the Balasya Bhava is Balya, you can take, or Balasya Bhava also you can take. Means one who is like a child, childlike. If you become, means you are innocent, you don't have any binding desires, etc. It's like childlike. So a jnani is described as a childlike person also. But here Bala only is the main thing because we are talking about Shravana, and Manana is the Balyena Tishta Set, actually points to. So you sit or you stay with strength, means basically that knowledge you are strengthening. And how do we strengthen the knowledge? So you have listened to it, you have gained knowledge. Now you get clarity. You have to do manana, manana shila. Muni is manana shila. So you become a muni. You strengthen your knowledge so that you have clear knowledge. So that is this Balyena Tishta say points to the mananam. Then what? Balyancha Pandityam cha Nirvidya. So having done this, Shravanam Mananam, you have clear knowledge. Atha Munihi, now you have become a Muni because you are a Manana Shila. You have thought through everything, you have analyzed, and you have clarity. But still, habitual tendencies are there. So you have to overcome that. How do you do that? Means you have to again recollect the knowledge, keep on recollecting the knowledge. You resolve your mind into this Atma. Instead of focusing on external things, you only focus Atma. Atmanyeva Atmana Tushtaha, you have to be correct. Atmanyeva Vasham Nayetanal, even Bhagavan says in the 6th chapter. So one has to bring this mind. Anyway, you are not interested in worldly pursuits, worldly things. So you are now all the time reinforcing the insight. The clear knowledge is already there, but it needs to be recollected again and again. There, due to which you will have certain habitual tendencies being overcome. You have to overcome your habitual tendencies. So that is what is called Maunam here. That is the Nididhyasana. So Balyancha Pandityam cha Nirvidya. So these two things you have done Manana, you have done Shravana, you are clear about these two, you have clear knowledge. Thereafter what? Atha Munihi, you being Muni, Maunancha Amaunancha Nirvidya, it says. So here Amaunam is actually this Balyam and Pandityam is Amaunam, that which is other than Mauna. Okay, and Maunam is basically this Nididhyasanam. Silence means Munehe Bhavam also you can take Maunam. So you only recollect your own Swarupa all the time, the Atma Swarupa. You do not take yourself as Anatma. So the Atma Anatma Viveka is an ongoing thing. It has to keep going till you you feel comfortable with yourself, correct? Your identity has to transform totally. So till then it will continue. So Maunam cha nirvidya, having known this Mauna also, which is Nididhyasanam, Atha Brahmanaha, then you become, thereafter you are a Brahmana, you are now Brahmavit, you are a knowledgeable person. In fact, you have Jnana Nishtha. Then interestingly, one question is asked here. Maybe Kahola only asked this. Sab Brahmanaha kena syat. So how does this Brahmana now live? Okay, there is a question like that. Correct? How does he behave? What is his lifestyle? That Arjuna asked this even in the second chapter, correct? Sita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava sitadi kim prabhasheta kimasita vrajeta kim. How does he talk? How does he sit? How does he walk and all he is asking really, basically. But Bhagavan does not literally answer that, correct? That he talks slowly with some air, all that, nothing like that. He straight away says, Rajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan, like that. So basically he's talking about the vision of the Jnani and how Jnani has overcome all desires, all this same thing, Eshana Vipthaya, same thing only. So, but anyway, here there is a question, Sab Brahmanaha kena syat. So, yena syat tena idrishaha eva ataha anyadartham. So now Yajnavalkya gives a very interesting answer. He says, whatever he does, that's it. Basically, it is like this only. Whatever he is, like his lifestyle, it is his lifestyle. Something like that. He gives an answer. Basically, what he says is, Jnani is beyond Vidhi Nisheda. Okay, Jnani is not bound by karma. Jnani doesn't even take oneself as karta. Then where is the question of any vidhi or nisheda, all these things? There is nothing prohibited or nothing mandatory to be done by the jnani. But here again, Bhashikara puts in a caveat. That does not mean that somebody can claim that I am a jnani and start doing all types of adharma. Correct? In fact, that will not be even possible for a jnani, because to be a jnani only you should have led a life of dharma already. You should have been a dharmikaha. So while you are a dharmika, to be a dharmika, you put in a lot of effort, correct? Because doing one's duties, nitya karma, naimitika karma, all the duties of the different roles takes a certain effort with will. You have to use your free will and choose to do your duty rather than go along with your likes and dislikes. There is a certain effort involved there. That is for a dharmika. But once you are a jnani, it is all spontaneous. Jnani's life will still be in keeping with dharma. There is no adharma. There is no question of any adharma then. Although we say that jnani is beyond dharma and adharma, that is only a praise of the jnani. Understand that. That is not a license for somebody to claim that I am a jnani and then start doing anything they want. In fact, Sureshwaracharya, I think in Naishkarmya Siddhi, uses very harsh words for such people. Even I think he asked what is the difference between them and a dog or something like that. There is a reference, if I remember correctly. So that's not, it is not for doing adharma or anything, but it is to show that jnani is not even a karta. If jnani is not a karta bhokta, jnani is beyond all kinds of mandates and prohibitions and all that. Vidhi nisheda do not apply. So whatever is his lifestyle is his lifestyle. That is the kind of answer which Yajnavalkya is giving here. It is like this only, he says. Whatever he lives, that is his lifestyle. It is like this. Okay. So he says, Yena syat tena idrishaha eva. So it is like this only. In whichever way he lives, it is like that. That is his lifestyle. There is nothing special. Ataha, all other things are artha. This again he says. Ataha anyadartham. Everything other than this Atma, it is all perishable. It is all mithya. Tataha kaholaha. Kaushitakeyaha upararama. Then he sat silently. He understood. So let us quickly see some bhashya. Ataha yenam kaholaha namataha. So the one Kahola with the name Kahola. And who is he? Kushitakasya apatyam. He is the son of Kushitakaha, progeny of Kushitakaha. And that is why Kaushitakeyaha. That is the word used here. Kaushitakeyaha. So Tadita pratyaya. Tasya apatyam. An is the pratyaya. Papracha. He asked what? Yajnavalkyeti hovacha iti purvavati. So this has been already explained before. He called the attention of Yajnavalkya by calling him, hey Yajnavalkya. Then what he asked the same thing. Yadeva sakshad aparokshad brahma ya atma sarvantaraha tam me vyachakshva iti. Now you teach me or you tell me about this Brahman which is direct, which is experienced directly without any intermediary sense organs or mind or anything, and which is the innermost Atma in all. Teach me about that. And again, Bhashyakara gives something extra here. Yam viditva bandhanat pramuchyate, knowing which one becomes free from bondage. Okay, that Bhashyakara adds here. Because the answer is going to talk about freedom from all kinds of bondage. So Bhashyakara is implying that in this question, basically this is implied. This also is implied. So he is adding this. Then Yajnavalkya aha, yeshate tava atma. What is that Atma? It is your Atma only. Okay, this which is your Atma is that Atma which is Sarvantaraha, which is there in everybody and which is Sakshad, Aparokshad, Brahma. Now Bhashyakara gets into a big discussion. Kim ushasta kaholabhyam eka atma prishtaha kim va bhinna atmanau tulya lakshanau iti. So now the question is, there are two people are asking the same question. Why should they ask the same question? Are they even asking about the same thing? The question may look similar, but are they really asking about the same thing or two different things? So they are asking about only one Atma, Eka Atma, or two different Atmas. Means one, because the other commentators are saying one question is about Jivatma, another question is about Paramatma. Okay. But they are having similar lakshanas, characteristics, because both Jivatma and Paramatma are conscious beings, correct? They are both conscious. That much we have to accept. So Tulya Lakshana means they have similar characteristics, but the questions are about two different Atmas. This also some people view like that. So is it about one Atma only, two questions? Then if you are saying for one Atma, two questions are there, isn't it repetition? Why should this same question about same Atma be asked again and again? That is the kind of analysis here. Now the Purvapakshi says, Binnav iti yuktam. It is proper to say that these two questions are about two different Atmas. Why? Prashnayoho apunaraktatva upapatte. So because then only the question, otherwise the questions will become repetition. Repetition is a dosha. We don't want repetition. Then only the two questions can be about two different things, means it is not a repetition. Then the question is not a repetition, and therefore it is proper to say that it is about two different Atma. So yadihi eka Atma ushasta kahola prashnayoho vivakshitaha tatre ekaineva prashnenena adhigatatvat tad vishayaha dvitiyaha prashnaha anarthakaha syat. So if you say the same Atma is being asked with these two questions, both by Ushasta and Kahola, okay, then two questions are not enough, correct? Not needed. With one question only, the Atma would have been known because you answer and then Atma is known. Then the next question is redundant. It is not required. It is anarthaka. It is meaningless. Therefore, Vinnau iti yuktam is about two different Atma. Also, you cannot say nacha arthavada rupatvam vakasya. Also, this again the repeated question cannot be taken as some arthavada. Means basically you try to take some other meaning. Correct? It is not a pramana vakya. It is arthavada. Means arthavada is basically some figurative speech or some story or some praise, and you try to get some meaning and that meaning you have to anyway assign it to the main whatever subject matter is under discussion in that section. But here this is not arthavada also. Okay, nacha arthavada rupatvam vakyasya tasmat. Therefore, what it is not about ekatma, it is not arthavada. Therefore, vinnav eva, correct? Etau atmanau. And now, what are those two? He says, kshetrajna paramatma khyau iti kechid vyachakshate, Bhashyakara says. So, some people means here again, bhartru prapancha. So, one question is about kshetrajnaha, means the one who knows the kshetra. Idam shariram kaunteya kshetramityabhidhiyate. There in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita also. And the one who knows this body, mind, sense complex, the individual Atma. So one question is about the individual Atma. The other question is about the Paramatma. Okay. Kshetrajna Paramatma Kyav iti kechid vyachakshate, Bhashyakara says. So these two questions are about different Atmas, Jivatma and Paramatma. Now Bhashyakara says, Tanna, it is not so. Why? Te iti pratignyana. See, it is talked about what? The answer, what Yajnavalkya gives is the same for both the questions, correct? What did he give answer in this case? In Ushasta's case also what? Okay, he says what? Yeshata Atma Sarvantaraha. That is the answer, correct? The answer is your Atma is the Atma of all the selves, all the beings. Now, what is the answer here also? Yeshata Atma Sarvantaraha. So, te iti pratignyana. So, the answer starts with the declaration that it is your Atma. The answer is like that. So, in both the cases, the answer is the same actually. Therefore, you cannot say it is pointing to two different Atmas and all that. That is meaningless. But he will talk about a lot more. We will see that next week. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.